Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the Papa D's cooking show. It's that time of the year again, and we've got some exciting recipes for you this year. And today I'm going to start off with halim, because in Ramadan that seems to be one of our staple dishes. And I've found many friends tend to be looking for halim all over the show. They find out that one's selling it and that one's making it. But today I'm going to show you a simple way of doing it. And more so, I've brought along a kitchen aid that's probably something, it's a must-have for you. Because this is one where you don't have to come back and tend to the meal. Once you start, you put your goodies in and you leave it. The machine will turn off on its own time and your meal will be ready. What I'll be using today is an electric pressure fryer from Philips. And like I say, you know, in fact, my wife has a pressure cooker at home, but it just lies there, it's still in the box. She's absolutely intimidated by all the pressure sounds that come out of there. If you walk in as a guest and the pressure cooker's on in the kitchen, you're going to know all about it. Now, while we're working with this machine, you'll notice it's absolutely quiet. There's no hissing sound of steam or anything, so you won't even feel intimidated. The recipe I've put together is so quick. I'm doing it with chicken. Obviously, you could do it with mutton or steak. It'll obviously take a bit longer, but a chicken halim can be prepared in just 10 minutes. I know that sounds impossible, but let's start and you be the judge. So I've got some chicken prepared here. I've used about half a kilo. Now, because I'm using the bone and I'm pressure frying, I want to chop the bone. This is actually the main bone you have in your chicken, and I want the stock to be to extract the juices from the bone. I've got my pressure cooker open, and what I'll do here is just cut up these pieces a little bit smaller. The very important thing with Indian cooking is the idea of braising the meat. I've switched the pressure fryer on. And it's absolutely important to braise the meat, because then you're extracting the juices from the meat and your meat won't have the boiled taste. And you'll notice I'm using the cooker with its lid open. So I'm really using it now as a pot, and then obviously we'll use it as a pressure cooker once the my heater is on. It has got an indicator that'll show you it's on heating, pressure, and then on warm. So even if you're not attending to your pot, and if you're away and the meal is done with the amount of time that you required, the machine will automatically switch off, and then you can actually be doing something else in that time. I've got that going, and to that I'm going to be using about 2 medium-sized onions, just roughly chopped. I'm not putting any spice in at the moment. I'm not putting anything else. I just want my meat to braise and start releasing the juices. I'm chopping them very roughly because these will actually dissolve by the time they're cooked. So we'll start firstly with all our dry spices. I don't use too much of the cloves, but I'm using 2 cloves in there and maybe just 2 ilachi. And then I start with my jeeru, the whole jeeru. I'm putting a full teaspoon of this because I like jeeru in my food, and this actually survives all the cooking. So you can actually get the whole jeeru as well. After that, I'm going to put in a teaspoon of fine jeeru. And then dhana powder, I'm putting 2 teaspoons full. I don't want it too strong, so I'm putting about a teaspoonful of the coarse red chilies. And then also fine red chilies, about 1 teaspoonful there. Salt can always be added later, but to begin with, I'm putting in I'll be using about 3 cups of oats. I'm going to use about 3 teaspoons of salt at this point. A little bit of cinnamon is always good for the aroma. And of course, turmeric gives it that special flavor, but not too much of it. It also enhances the color. It's about half a teaspoon of that. All my dry spices are in now, and you have been familiarized with all the spices I've used. The only other thing is that you normally use whole barley or whatever, but this time what I'm using is oats. Now oats actually, if you look at it, has been compressed, so that's already half your cooking time gone, because oats can take up to 2 hours to cook. Your barley, if it's whole, can take up to 2 hours to cook. Now you'll notice I've left this in water for a little while, and you can see the texture. It's always good to at least just put it into water for about half an hour before you're cooking. But if you don't have the time and you do it for about half an hour, that'll also do. So I'm ready now to put my onions in. Now, very important to any curry is the color, the texture, and obviously the taste. So what I would like to show you with the use of this machine is that your texture is perfect, the cooking of your meats is perfect, and also your ingredients that usually take forever to cook are done so quickly. I'm just going to give it a bit of a toss around. So that's ready. Now, you may want to cook it for longer than 10 minutes. But what would happen is, with the pressure that this cooks under, your meat will actually start breaking up. So I want my meat to be whole, and yet I want it well done. I'm now going to add in my oats, which I had soaked for about half an hour earlier. Now, if you'll notice on this marker here, you must remember the oats are also going to expand. The meat will give off some of its own juices as well. And I need to add some water to the mixture as well. So now all our ingredients are in, and I'm just going to ask my assistant to get us some water, and we can then bring the water to the top level. Thank you, Proud.
Thank you, sir.
You'll notice I'm keeping it well below the maximum mark, because as I said, if I really want to thin it later, I could do that. Just give it one stir. And we're going to close the pot. This machine is so safe. It has a safety valve. It also has a little pressure valve here. And if you look at it from the top, it says here vent, seal, and bake. So I'm leaving it in the sealed position because I need it to now build up pressure. I'm going to set the timer. You'll notice there is a chicken facility on here, but I'm cooking it for a little less than that because I don't want it to overcook. So I'm cooking it at around 12 minutes. So in reality, after your preparation time, you can serve your guests and a proper homemade halim in 12 minutes. So even if you have unexpected guests coming along and you wonder what are you going to cook for them, you can, if it's a nice cool evening, halim's your answer. So here we are. To speed it up, I've actually released the pressure and my safety valve has dropped. And let's see what the texture is like of this meal. Remember, this is a meal you'd usually cook for about 2 hours. Have a look at it now. Wow, the texture is perfect. I'm just going to give it a bit of a stir. There we are. It's nice and thick. As I said, if you need to thin it a little bit more, you could always do that. I want to check the consistency of the meat as well. So here we have it, our chicken halim in 10 minutes and served with some nice hot parathas. Enjoy. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.